who is said to be connected to God, and he's going to ask Balaam to come curse these Israelites so that they can have God's help in defending them. This Balaam had a reputation that when he blesses someone, they get blessed. When he curses them, they are cursed, and they stay cursed. So Balak sends an entourage to Balaam with financial reward for his service, and he's turned down cold. Balaam talked to God, and God told him to stay home. Balaam thinks that maybe he wasn't persuasive enough, so he sends a larger and more prominent group of men to bring a much larger and more tempting payment for Balaam. The first Balaam turns down, but he still inquires of God, and this time God gives him permission to make the journey to Balak, but only if he does and says exactly what God tells him to do and say. And that's what we got to do today. If God gives us permission to do something, permission to go somewhere, we've got to do and say exactly what he tells us to say. When Balaam actually does arrive and ends up not only not cursing the Israelites, he actually blesses them 3 times at God's direction. And a frustrated Balak storms off and apparently never attempted to fight Israel again. That can be found in Judges 11:25. So that brings us to the prophet Balaam. Balaam was a prophet of God. There are some preachers and scholars who believe that wasn't true. There are many who believe that Balaam was just a greedy pagan prophet engaged in sorcery. One preacher dismissed him by simply saying that Balaam was not a Jew. He was a foreigner from Macedonia. Now that preacher was right. Balaam was not an Israelite. He was not one of God's chosen people. He was an outsider. But tonight, God loves the outsiders. God loves each and every one of us tonight. And everybody is worthy of God tonight. And God can speak to anybody tonight, because God even spoke to a donkey. So if God